Hello, Namaste. It is Monday, the 20th of April, and my name's Tim Halloran. I'm an astrologer located in Savannah, Georgia. You can get into contact with me or schedule an astrology reading at the link below. Now, we are beginning this week, in many respects, with a fresh slate. We are beginning a fresh cycle, which is nice because this is a week that we can put intention into. This is a week of building and figuring out what we want to be doing throughout this next month, as last month's cycle kind of culminated and completed over this past weekend. And what we're talking about is the entire last month that has been excited, that's been energized, that's been electrical, being initiated with our March 20th spring equinox solar eclipse, which followed in a month of spontaneous changes, sudden development, realizations that are causing things to shift around, that are causing our identity to be taken several levels up or down. And these spontaneous realizations and changes can sometimes be tumultuous, as quick evolution, quick realization, quick developments oftentimes do happen in somewhat distressful, tense ways. And this past new moon that was on Saturday is kind of this encapsulation and completion of this past moon cycle. And this past new moon was in 28 degrees of Aries, the individual. And it is as though as we are encapsulating this into one uniform role, one uniform form, one uniform structure. Our emotional, mental, physical body is being kind of focused upon and structured. And it is as though we are kind of stepping into this vehicle now. We are bringing ourselves down into our bodies. As today we have had the sun move into the sign of Taurus, initiating the next month of Taurus season. Taurus being the grounded, earthy, practical, do-it-yourself sign of self-security, of providing your own resources, of finding your own way, of finding your own niche that does not necessarily have to fit into everybody else's. So today we have that movement of the sun into the earth sign of Taurus. Tonight the moon moves into chattery and social Gemini. And we also have Venus in Gemini. So the excitement does continue in many respects. We continue to socialize, we continue to communicate, and yet there is this very progressive movement, this totally ambitious and focused energy that we can very much harness into our own individual universe and our own immediate environment that is happening simultaneously. As tomorrow, we have Mars forming an Earth trine with Pluto. And Mars is in the sign of Taurus, Pluto's in the sign of Capricorn. Taurus is fixed Earth, fixed on what work we need to do, what desires I want, what I want to see manifest in my immediate environment. Mars in Taurus. Trine to Pluto in Capricorn, which is cardinal Earth, initiating new projects, initiating new structures, initiating new ways. And of course this Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, which means that old structures are changing. And now we have the opportunity to find confidence and strength in the new structure that we are now forming for ourselves. Now Wednesday, Mercury comes around and conjuncts that Mars trine to Pluto. And this is focus, mental focus. We are totally tuning in to what our desires are, what we need to acquire, what work needs to get done. And this is a unique capability to be able to really hone in and bust out what we need to, which is nice. Because after this month of so much transitioning, so much changes, so much spontaneous distractions, there is an opportunity now for this to kind of settle and set. Now Wednesday evening, the moon will move into Cancer. Saturday morning, the moon moves into Leo. And then Saturday evening, we have our second quarter square moon, which is our half moon in Leo. So we have really from now up until this second quarter square moon on Saturday, is the initiating and building and constructing of this next month, of this next lunar cycle. So we do want to put a lot of intention into these next 7 days. And we want to be building our vehicle, structuring our environment, and finding our own self-security to kind of take care of ourselves, to be able to provide for ourselves, and not necessarily rely on too much exterior obligations or expectations or other helping hands. This is the opportunity to find our own strength, our own capability to help ourselves and take care of what we need to. Now that being said, it's like this last month, with all these spontaneous changes, with all these movements, with all these developments, quick evolution, quick spontaneous learning and growing and maturing can sometimes be difficult. There has been a lot of tumultuous energy. There has been tragedy. There has been uncomfortable, unsettling events that has taken place this past month. And now there is kind of an opportunity and the need for us to, accept what has happened, to accept the past. The past is the past. And now we need to kind of move forward, which means that we do need to forgive and forget, let go of what has happened, and now kind of focus on what we are building, what we are constructing, what we are doing in the future. And this is a process of acquiring self-security. We need to have security within ourselves, which sometimes means it's only going to be us who comes to terms with the past, who lets go of the past, who lets go of what has happened. It's actually only us that can do this. No exterior force or formula or person or teaching is really going to give us the means to forgive and let go of the past besides ourselves. And this is a means of taking back our own power, our own strength, and our own capability to take care of ourselves. Now, I do have my moon in Taurus, so I kind of have a PhD in Taurus myself. And one thing I've noticed coming from that perspective is that there is quite a bit of misrepresentation having to do with Taurus. And that is because Taurus is ruled by Venus, but Venus in Taurus is introverted Venus. Venus in Libra is extroverted. Venus in Taurus is introverted. And of course, Venus rules the senses. And Taurus is the earth, having to do with our senses, our body, our immediate environment. And I see a lot of misrepresentation in Taurus because a lot of people have been conditioned via old religious beliefs, via cultural expectation, that looking after ourselves, providing ourselves, pampering and nurturing our own senses, our own desires, is considered oftentimes selfish, which I see a very troubling concept. Because from my perspective, I look out into the world and I am utterly amazed with how few people can actually take care of themselves on their own. Now, I've got my North Node in the 8th house, so I'm actually moving in the direction, coming out of being a hermit, interacting with other people, learning how to, balance all these different universes and things going on, and it becomes like a chemical reaction. It becomes rather interesting. However, I still find it rather amazing that so few people can really provide a secure environment for themselves, in which case they can feel secure being alone in our own body, in our own work, in our own duty, in our own environment. And this is an extremely necessary skill that we need to acquire in order to gain self-security. And we need to have our own self-security established within ourselves via our own power, our own authority, if we wish to be of service to other people. We can't really expect the world to heal us or other people to heal us. We need to learn how to look after ourselves. And this is an opportunity to do so and to not feel guilty about it. And it's actually very important because we do our best work when we are taking care of our body, when we are taking care of our senses, when we are taking care of our immediate environment. There is a reason that I come out here to do these videos. This is an extremely secluded and beautiful area. I feel home here. There's wild strawberries and flowers growing everywhere. Nobody ever comes back here and knows about this place. It's awesome. I feel safe. I wish I could bring my desk and my computer out here and be able to just do everything in a space like this, because it provides that comfort, that security, in which case I have an easier time speaking to you all, feeling kind of more, calmed and relaxed and comfortable in being who I am. And you need self-security to put videos on YouTube, don't you? because there's going to be all this array of comments coming from all these people. And this is kind of the point and the theme of this week, is we need to establish our own self-security. We need to establish our own duty, our own desires, our own job, our own work, and we need to look after ourselves enough to be able to handle people and not kind of rely or be too clingy or dependent on other people for our own self-affirmation. Now this can be a little bit of a challenge this week, as we do have Venus already in Gemini, and the moon's going to go into Gemini tonight and stay there tomorrow until Wednesday evening. And this is this social buzziness that's going on simultaneously. And we are meeting people, and we are continuing the communication. And in many respects, this week is still continuing to move. It's not that we're stopping. It's like we just boarded a moving train, and before it's like the train is moving. Oh my gosh, I gotta get there. It was instinctual, it was fast, it was exciting, it was overwhelming, it was intense. And we just barely squeezed through those doors, and we got on that moving train. And the train is moving, and we are in a definite direction, definitely going somewhere. There is a definite momentum that has picked up, and now we are going. But it's as if now we have the opportunity to kind of slow down and acknowledge where we are. Oh good, I'm on board the train. I made it. Okay, I can calm down, I can sit down, I can unpack my bag, and I can start to, work on what busy work I prepared for the train ride, preparing me for wherever I'm going. This is kind of the opportunity of this period. Now the thing to make sure is that we are getting all of our stuff in order. That way we can still communicate, still interact with other people, and not be so much distracted or thrown off by the various things that do come into our immediate environment, that can throw us off, that can disturb us. We need to provide our own inherent foundation and security enough to be able to handle our interactions with other people. As this Venus in Gemini is square to asteroid Vesta in Pisces this week, and Vesta was actually conjunct Neptune in Pisces last Friday. And this is this unique capability again that is focus. Vesta has to do again with self-autonomy, our ability to look after our own, provide for ourselves, and focus intensely. Now Vesta in Pisces with Neptune is focused on our own inherent spiritual connection, which can also be our compassion, our selfless dedication towards others, and how much we want to help other people. However, Venus in Gemini square to this Vesta means that there can potentially be some tension between our own inner sanctuary and our spiritual connection and what's going on the outside. And this can play out in so many variety of ways. One of them is that, being such selfless, compassionate people, we cannot always reach out and help other people. It's like it goes both ways. We can't always expect to get help from other people. We have to sometimes take care of ourselves and not expect the outside world to always be there to cater for us. And simultaneously, we can't always help other people. And this is difficult. This can be hard, especially if we're a very compassionate, selfless person. We want to help other people, and yet some people are so stuck, so frozen in their own fear and their own conditioning, they will not receive help. In which case, we cannot blame ourselves. We can't allow ourselves to get dragged down by the stagnation and the fear and the conditioning of other people. So once again, this forces us back into our own world, our own immediate environment, our own castle. And we need to make sure that we have this castle, this vehicle, this environment as taken care of, as provided. That way we can return to our castle, sometimes empty-handed, sometimes alone, and it be okay, because we are established in who we are established in our spiritual connection, and this is confidence. This is a wonderful amount of confidence this week. In fact, this may be the other thing to be slightly aware of. So much confidence, so much ambition, so much drive. It's like Mars trine to Pluto. Mars and Pluto are the two planets that rules our desires, that rules our ambition, that rules what we want. Pluto's the higher octave of Mars, having to do with soul desires, which for most of us are majorly unconscious, and we're continuously digging up what these soul desires actually are. Mars is what takes these soul desires and now kind of plays them out on the mundane, quote-unquote, egoic field. What we actually want immediately, what I want now, is Mars. And these two trine each other give us a tremendous amount of ambition and power and drive to acquire what I want. And the thing to be a little wary of with this, especially having Mercury square to Jupiter earlier this week, is that we don't want to get overly fixed, and we don't want to get overly inflated at the same time. And this is this natural square that occurs between Taurus and Leo. Kind of the lower octave of Taurus is becoming overly fixed. Fixed earth sign. Really, really stubborn. Oh yeah, I know the way. It's this one way, and that's the only way there is, and I'm only going to look at that one way, and I'm stuck in that one way, and it's perfect. Leave me alone. That's Taurus. There's a natural square between that and Leo. Now the lower octave of Leo is overinflation. I know everything. I'm perfect. I have all my shit together. Everything revolves around me. So we need to make sure that we're not accidentally fusing these together and becoming overly self-inflated, overly determined, overly ambitious, overly bent on one particular way of happening, because then we can become very easily frustrated. And there is a potential for that this week. Overly frustrated if something disturbs our fixated project. I'm going to do this project, nothing's going to get in the way, and I'm going to do it by 5 p.m. And you do it by 5:05, and that's just the worst thing in the world. We still need to remain flexible. We need to harness all this energy and be very productive with it. But we don't want to get so carried away with it that we become utterly unflexible, and we have no patience. And we have no capability to slow down and pamper and nurture ourselves. And this is super important in Taurus season, is there's so much cultural conditioning, old religious dogma, that makes us feel bad for Taurus nature. Taurus is Venus turned inward. Venus turned inward in Taurus is our own capability to look after our own body, our own senses, to enjoy our body, to enjoy our senses. Because if we cannot acquire the self-security, which comes by feeling comfortable where we are. I feel secure here because this environment is comfortable. That's having to do with the senses. That has to do with our body. If we're always rigidly uncomfortable, oh, I don't have time to drink water today, I have too much business to do. Do we really think that we're going to be that much more capable of doing business? No. But this is a cultural belief system, really, is so many people in line to get coffee in the morning, skipping out on breakfast. It's a push, push, push type of culture until we break down, until we forget about our emotions. And then we have emotional breakdowns, mental breakdowns, and these types of things. So actually, the best way to be best suited, to get the most amount of work done, to be able to keep the momentum going. This is Taurus. Taurus is a long distance provider and a long distance planner. This is the opportunity for us to be taking things slow, to be measuring, to see how things will last, and to just chip away at it little bit by little bit by little bit. And that's healthy. That's good. And that allows us to be secure. I am definitely moving in this one direction. I don't have to necessarily be there right now. In fact, if I were just to skip there, I wouldn't get to enjoy the journey. This is the esoteric wisdom of Taurus that I see missing from so many explanations of Taurus. Is it wrong to be slow? Is it stupid to be slow? Absolutely not. What if enjoying slow and enjoying and being steady, you know, like the cow? This is Taurus, is the bull, the cow. What does the cow represent is Mother Earth. If we are not slowing down, we become disconnected from nature. We forget who we are. We forget about the fundamental abundance and enjoyment that is always there for us being provided from Mother Nature. So slowing down does not mean stupid. Slowing down does not mean unproductive. Slowing down means I'm actually taking the time to enjoy the food that I am eating, which, you know what, makes your body healthier. You actually absorb more nutrients when you do this. And not only that, the vibration of the food is higher because you appreciate it more. We need to eat like the cow. Oh, this is so enjoyable. I could do this forever. And you know what? This is also simplicity. We think simplicity is stupid. We think simplicity is dull. Simplicity can be saving grace. And sometimes we overcomplicate everything, particularly in the spiritual, religious, healing world. It's like everything becomes so overly complicated. There's so many chakras, there's so many dimensions, there's so many extraterrestrial beings. And it's just like, okay, but what does it mean to be a human being in a body and to be a successfully anchored, practical, self-secure spiritual being? It means that things can be awfully simple and slow. The esoteric wisdom of Taurus is, in order for this world to be paradise, all that would be needed is for every human being to know how to take care of themselves. If every single human being, instead of feeling bad and feeling selfish for taking care of ourselves, for feeling bad because we have too many external obligations for taking care of ourselves, and instead we actually took the time to take care of ourselves, pamper our senses, take care of our body, and provide for our immediate environment, this entire world would immediately be paradise. So there's no sense of berating ourselves for feeling like we're super honed in on our immediate environment and our immediate world. This is where we are right now. And it's super important that we take all this energy and we integrate it and we find our confidence and we find our security. That way we can be secure in where we're going and not necessarily need to shortcut there. We can enjoy the process. We can enjoy the ride. And that's the difference of being in this chaotic kind of hell realm-like existence and being in a world of nature where there is abundance. There is love. Venus is ruled by Taurus. It is love. Is it wrong for us to love ourselves? To love our immediate environment? To love what we are doing in the world that is work? No. We need to love these things more because that will provide the kind of self-security we need to be able to actually reach out, help people, broadcast what other loving, intelligent, wise vibrations we have, and not be relentlessly shaken and disturbed by exterior forces, other people's projections, and other belief systems that may not have anything to do with what we are here to do and what we are here to achieve that provides abundance and security to the world. All right, so let's enjoy, put a lot of intention, put a lot of, thought and momentum into this first week, and let's enjoy this May month. Let's really allow ourselves to kind of slow down because then come June, things do get a little bit more exciting again. So let's take this as a real opportunity to breathe in, harness in, find some stability, and keep on keeping on. So for those who may be interested in astrological readings, I do offer in-depth natal chart readings that go into the evolutionary look of the soul in this lifetime, in general where we are coming from and going. I also offer transit readings, which is a look at the natural movements and cycles that we are progressing through this year. And I also now offer impromptu readings, which I actually do on the spot, readings of birth charts for those who may have questions. And we can do that and meet over Skype and talk face to face. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you, and I'm wishing all the best to you and your beloveds. Namaste.